From Vermont Public, this is The Frequency. I'm Burgess Brown. It's Friday, April 25th, and here are today's headlines. Vermont State Police say a 38-year-old man shot and injured a Milton police officer on Wednesday night and then killed himself. VSP says Sergeant Paul Locke was shot twice when he responded to calls about smoke coming from a house on Main Street. One round hit Locke's bullet-resistant vest, and the other hit one of his legs, according to VSP. After the shooting, police say the alleged shooter, Aaron LaRoche, barricaded himself inside and refused to surrender. After about 4 hours, VSP entered the house and found LaRoche dead from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The chief medical examiner's office is conducting an autopsy to determine the cause and manner of death. Locke, the Milton police officer, was treated at the University of Vermont Medical Center and released late Wednesday night. He's recovering at home, according to state police. The Vermont Senate on Thursday gave its preliminary approval to a Burlington charter change that bans guns in businesses that serve alcohol. The 17-12 vote was along party lines. All of the Democrats voted for it, and only Republicans voted against it. Chittenden Senator Tanya Vyhovsky urged her colleagues to support the bill.
To be clear, this is not about taking people's guns away. This is about public safety and preventing predictable tragedies, just like we don't allow open flames at gas stations or drunk driving on our roads.
But Grand Isle Senator Pat Brennan, who said he often carries a firearm at night when he visits Burlington, argued the proposal would make people less safe.
I think we're creating a soft target. You know, we've seen many school shootings. They're horrible, they're horrific, but this is adding another soft target to the list.
The measure is scheduled to come up for final approval in the Senate on Friday. If it passes, it will then be considered by the House. The state thinks there's enough money in a federal broadband grant to connect every address in Vermont to a high-speed fiber network. But Alexi Montserrat, who's with the Vermont Community Broadband Board, says they're now waiting to see what the Trump administration does about the funding.
The applications are in. We are beginning our process to evaluate them, but at the same time, we are conscious that there are changes coming, and we'll have to adapt to those as they arrive.
The board just closed the application window for the $229 million federal grant. Montserrat says he expects to get more guidance on any changes that might be coming to the program next month. And National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day is this Saturday, April 26th. And Vermonters can safely dispose of unused, expired, and unwanted medications at over 30 locations around the state. The collection aims to keep risky medications away from children and pets and protect waterways and wildlife from drugs that are trashed or flushed. Drop-off sites will be open between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., and you can find a location near you at dea.gov/takeback. Coming up, researchers are looking for ways to help snowshoe hares adapt to a changing climate. That story after this. Snowshoe hares change their fur with the seasons. In the summer, they're brown. In the winter, they're white. But as New England sees less and less snow in the winter due to human-caused climate change, some so-called mismatched hares are sticking out like sore thumbs. New England researchers have two ideas about how to help. Vermont Public's Abigail Giles has more.
It's a warm spring day in the White Mountains, and wildlife biologist Alexei Sarin has found something exciting: snowshoe hare tracks in a patch of snow.
We have these larger hind feet that are out to the side like that, and then the smaller front feet that are behind it.
After a tricky bushwhack, we're standing in what Sarin says is prime snowshoe hare habitat. This little patch of older forest is full of blowdowns. Waist-high spruce and fir trees are growing up in the new space. Snowshoe hares like to nibble on the protein-rich buds, and they can hide from predators or camouflage in the snow. Seren has been tracking snowshoe hare populations in New England for more than a decade, sometimes by catching and tagging the animals, sometimes by counting their pellets on the forest floor. Today, we're checking some game cameras. Snowshoe hares have light bones and big feet that make them specially adapted to life on the snow, and they can blend in.
They're one of the few color molting species in the world that actually change their seasonal coats from to be brown in the summertime to white in wintertime to be camouflaged with snow.
But these days, snow is coming later in the fall and leaving earlier in the spring because of climate change. This is leading to hares having coats that are mismatched with their surroundings.
You know, the classic when we think of them being mismatched is when they're white and there's no snow on the ground. And they've been shown to have higher rates of predation during those time frames.
But there is hope for these animals. Seren says in places like West Virginia and Pennsylvania, scientists have found snowshoe hares that no longer turn white in the winter. He has a grant now to study whether introducing some of those hares to New England could help the animals here adapt to climate change. It's a solution scientists call assisted migration.
So it's a complicated solution in one way because it's challenging to move animals across geopolitical borders.
And there are risks. It could endanger the special population of brown hares or put them in a place where they won't thrive. But Seren hopes this assisted migration could become a viable solution in the next decade or so. In the meantime, researchers at the University of Vermont are looking at another fix in the forest itself.
We can actually influence snow behavior a bit by changing the nature of the forest canopy.
Tony D'Amato directs the forestry program at the University of Vermont. Snowshoe hares love what's called early successional forest, those small trees that crop up after a big windstorm or in the wake of logging. But D'Amato's research on recovering paperlands in northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine has shown that big clear cuts aren't the answer here.
And what we found is that, those smaller openings with, shade around them really do accumulate and actually maintain snow a lot longer.
In some places, this can be achieved by protecting old forests. But D'Amato hopes harvesting trees from tiny patches of land here and there, say 1/10 of an acre, and leaving a lot of the wood behind can help keep snow on the ground for longer and create the ecosystems the hares love. This research is about 5 years old, and it will take decades to see the full impact. But the early results are promising. Back in the woods in New Hampshire, Alexei Seren says finding a solution for the hares is about more than saving this culturally significant and fluffy creature. Their presence in the forest supports other animals like owls and lynx.
They're really important number one species, primary species of boreal ecosystems, and if you didn't have them there, then these ecosystems would collapse.
It's something both researchers are fighting to prevent. For the New England News Collaborative, I'm Abigail Giles.
That story is part of our Earth Day series, which we've been hearing this week from the New England News Collaborative. Today's episode was produced and edited by Liam Elder Connors. We had additional reporting from Bob Kinzel, Howard Weiss-Tisman, and Jen Jarecki. And our music is by Blue Dot Sessions. I'm Burgess Brown. Talk soon.
This is Tanya Mosley, co-host of Fresh Air. You'll see your favorite actors, directors, and comedians on late-night TV shows or YouTube. But what you get with Fresh Air is a deep dive. Spend some quality time with people like Billie Eilish, Questlove, Ariana Grande, Stephen Colbert, and so many more. We ask questions you won't hear asked anywhere else. Listen to the Fresh Air podcast from NPR and WHYY.